President Trump saying he has found a massive kickback scheme, honing in on 200 payments specifically, where the money from all but 3 of those payments was kicked back. Saying this with his attorney general standing right next to him. They have receipts. Also, Dems furious, going on national television yesterday, calling for real weapons to be used to fight Elon Musk. They've lost their freaking minds. We'll show you. In major news in the Ukraine-Russia war, President Trump saying negotiations have started and the war is ending. But before we get started, thank you for liking and sharing these videos. It really helps out the channel. And consider subscribing so you don't miss these regular updates. It's been 3 weeks. That's it. 3.5 weeks since Donald Trump became president. And already he's done more to shrink the federal government than Ronald Reagan achieved in 8 years in office. That's according to the Wall Street Journal yesterday. While standing next to his attorney general, his new attorney general, Pam Bondi, President Trump announced he is completely certain his administration has discovered a wide-ranging kickback scheme, massive kickbacks inside the federal government, saying he's examined a list of 200 expenditures paid for by you, the taxpayer, and found only 3 that appear legitimate, that billions have been spent on vastly overinflated items, saying this is a massive fraud that's taken place, and now it will end. Watch.
Abuse.
Oh, yeah. Tremendous fraud. There's tremendous fraud, and it's hard to believe that you can have that kind of fraud. You're talking about, like, are you talking about what? Wait. Which are you talking? You're talking about with regard to all of the investigations that are going on about this stupidity. What we're going to do is tomorrow I'm having a news conference. I'm going to read to you some of the names that hundreds of millions and even billions of dollars have been given to. And if you tell me that we should be giving money to those things, those entities, I think you'll probably have to leave as a reporter because you're not very talented. When you look at the kind of money, billions and billions of dollars being thrown away illegally, and there's no chance. I mean, I say it in front of our attorney general, there's no chance that there's not kickbacks or something going on. When you give millions and millions of dollars to somebody that stands to look at something for 15 minutes and walks away with millions of dollars, that money's coming back in some form. And that's only one form of corruption. The biggest thing is what they do to our country. They're taking massive amounts of money and spending it on items. I went through a list of 200 expenditures that were made, and I found 3 that looked like they were reasonable. Okay, 3. And we'll be talking about that tomorrow. We have a lot of stuff. And I want to commend Elon because he's done a fantastic. He doesn't need this. You know, he's abused by you people every day. He's found more things than anybody could find. I think he's got the credibility to do it. I know he does. And it's his group of people. You know, they started off with 12. I call them 12 geniuses. They started off with 12, and they went to 20 and 25, and now they're up to almost 100. People are joining to help them because there's a massive fraud that's taken place.
Legacy media, furious, not reporting the truth, not reporting the details. We saw them Tuesday obtain their new talking points. All mainstream media now spewing the same line, that there's no evidence, they say, no truth that DOGE uncovered corruption or is uncovering corruption, fraud, or any wasteful spending. Instead, running headlines like this yesterday saying USAID freeze claims first victims as oxygen supplies cut off, blaming Elon Musk and DOGE for a woman's oxygen running out. They are desperate. That's what this is. What does a citizen of Thailand have anything to do with the United States, claiming DOGE isn't transparent, that they haven't shown any proof, even though they have an X account and they post their receipts all day long, posting the contracts that they've canceled, the employees they've terminated, the programs that they've ended. Watch as Carolyn Leavitt, Trump's press secretary, let them have it in yesterday's press briefing. This reporter demanding proof for the ridiculous contracts that DOGE claims it's canceling. Watch Carolyn Leavitt pull out the receipts and begin going through them one by one by one. This is great. Watch.
As for the actual receipts, we are happy to provide them, and I actually brought some today because all of you know I love to bring the receipts. We have contracts upon contracts that we can send and provide this information to you. Let me be very clear. We are not trying to hide anything. We have been incredibly transparent, and we will continue to be. These are screenshots of contracts that DOGE found across our government. This is a DEI contract, $36,000 for U.S. citizenship and immigration services. That is against the president's policies and his America First agenda. This is a $3.4 million contract, a Council for Inclusive Innovation at the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, Department of Commerce, another DEI contract that DOGE identified. I can continue to go through these. Oh, I love this one, $57,000 for climate change in Sri Lanka. What is this doing to continue the interests of the American people? Absolutely nothing.
They are desperate. No Republican administrations ever made this much progress, let alone in 3.5 weeks. Democrats don't know how to fight back. They're lashing out now, realizing that finally realizing Elon's their number one enemy. All of this only possible because of Elon Musk. Take out Elon and Trump's got problems. And they're showing their cards, trying anything to somehow claw back some ground. Watch Democrat Representative Gomez call for actual weapons, he said, to be used to fight back against Elon Musk and DOGE, saying this on CNN with no pushback. This is what desperation looks like. Watch.
I want to hear why, but do you think that calling Elon Musk a dick is effective messaging for confronting what is a potentially irreversible transformation of the U.S. government?
Well, he is. And I think that he's also harming the American public in an enormous way. And what I think is really important, and what the American public want, is for us to bring actual weapons to this bar fight. This is an actual fight for democracy, for the future of this country. And it's important to push back on the chairperson of this committee. I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene talks about having decorum, about bipartisanship. This is the person that lies more than anybody else in the entire Congress. And so if she is going to make a mockery of hearings, I want to make sure that us as Democrats are bringing that same level of energy. And of course, after those comments, we went into exactly what Elon Musk is trying to do: dismantling the Department of Labor, dismantling the Department of Education, dismantling all of our consumer protection agencies. And so it's all important, but it's also important to get the attention of the American public and call Elon Musk out for what he is, and to make people know that Marjorie Taylor Greene is not a serious legislator and she shouldn't be treated as such.
Yesterday, Palantir co-founder and billionaire Joe Lonsdale was being interviewed by CNBC, admitting that the deep state is nervous that they'll probably end up winning at the end of the day, but that he thinks they've met their match with Elon Musk, and he's right. Let me know in the comments if you agree that Musk is Trump's number one asset right now. He's not only doing all the dirty work, but he's taking all the incoming flack from the media, from Democrats. If he wasn't there, if Elon wasn't there, their focus would turn back to Donald Trump, just like it did during Trump 1.0. Watch.
But it's a mess. And so it's a mess, and it's such a mess that I think being bold is the right answer. I get it's going to have a few mistakes, but I'd rather have those few mistakes and fix it.
And I think, look, part of this may be very deliberate, because part of the Washington grinding machine is, don't worry, we will survive this too. You know, we'll live through this, because the Washington grinding machine always slows everything to a complete stop and nothing gets done. I think that my guess is that this was a pretty deliberate attempt, or a pretty deliberate decision to do it this way, just to make sure that you actually make some progress.
Being careful and slow isn't how we get to Mars. So, you know, it is what it is.
Joe, I mean, the deep state's still going to win, no matter how. Don't you think, Joe? I mean, despite the best,
I think they've met their match.
Maybe they met their match,
but I think they met their match.
You can't. I just don't think you can possibly go too hard.
In another story, Trump's Attorney General Pam Bondi announcing the DOJ has launched lawsuits against Letitia James and New York Governor Kathy Hochul. Bondi announcing the Department of Justice has filed a civil lawsuit against Kathy Hochul and Letitia James, civil suits for allegedly failing to enforce federal immigration laws, yet leaving New York City Mayor Eric Adams out of it. Why? Why would she do this? Well, apparently, Adams knows where the bodies are buried, and he has an axe to grind in exchange for dropping the federal charges that Biden brought against Adams. He's flipped or will flip on Alvin Bragg, Kathy Hochul, and Letitia James. This could be big. Watch.
We're here today because we have filed charges against the state of New York. We have filed charges against Kathy Hochul. We have filed charges against Letitia James and Mark Schroeder, who is with DMV. This is a new DOJ, and we are taking steps to protect Americans, American citizens, and angel moms, like the mom standing right behind me, who you're going to hear from in a moment. New York has chosen to prioritize illegal aliens over American citizens. It stops today.
Eric Adams has become persona non grata in Democrat circles. We reported this back in December when the Biden administration was going after him criminally, like Democrats do, targeting, going after their own, eating their own alive if they fall out of line, which Eric Adams did, saying he'd work with the Trump administration, help Trump's border czar with deporting illegal aliens, calling out all the woke crap we've been living with. Well, Biden's DOJ charged him. Political lawfare. Now Trump's flipped this, Pam Bondi using it to her advantage because the mayor of New York knows all the dirt, folks. Knows where the bodies are buried. Watch Bill O'Reilly explain the inside baseball that's happening here. Watch.
Trump wants to get Letitia James and Alvin Bragg. That's what this story is all about. Nothing else there. He went after Illinois because he wants to get Pritzker. Hates him. And the way to do that is to deny the states of Illinois and New York the federal grant money. The New York Post reports today $8 billion is going to get held up by the Justice Department that would have flowed into New York State, which is running an astronomical deficit here, okay? So the easiest way to do this is to file civil suits against the governor and the attorney general. Then the question was, why is the mayor of New York left out? Because he doesn't matter. He doesn't matter. Trump wants to get Letitia James. Hochul is just an ornament. Doesn't have any bad feeling toward Hochul, Trump. But Adams, the deal that was made, I don't know what Adams is giving Trump. I have to tell the audience up front. I don't know, and I don't use anonymous sources, but I have gotten call after call after call that said, and all of these people have agendas who are calling it. They all have agendas, all right? And they're saying that Adams knows where the bodies are buried with James and Bragg. Just throwing it out for your consumption. I'm not reporting it to be true, but it kind of makes sense.
In another story, major progress happening to end the Ukraine-Russia war. President Trump announcing on Truth Social yesterday he spoke with both Vladimir Putin and Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky, and an in-person meeting between both leaders will happen tomorrow on Friday in Munich. Writing this, I just spoke to President Volodymyr Zelensky of Ukraine. The conversation went very well. He, like President Putin, wants to make peace. We discussed a variety of topics having to do with the war, but mostly the meeting that is being set up tomorrow on Friday in Munich, where Vice President J.D. Vance and Secretary of State Marco Rubio will lead the delegation. I'm hopeful that the results of that meeting will be positive. It is time to stop this ridiculous war where there has been massive and totally unnecessary death and destruction. God bless the people of Russia and Ukraine. Then following up this morning, after he posted that, saying great talks with Russia and Ukraine yesterday, good possibility of ending that horrible, very bloody war, all caps, meaning after he posted those two messages on Wednesday, this morning, getting more feedback. Apparently, both leaders are ready to move forward. This is the first time both of them, Putin and Zelensky, will be meeting in person to discuss a ceasefire and negotiate a peace deal. Huge first step in bringing the war to a conclusion. We'll be watching closely what happens tomorrow. All right, that wraps up this episode. Like, subscribe. We'll see you next time.